I'll add, I think I agree with a lot of what everybody has said in terms of needing that balance. I think the one piece we keep talking about context in terms of the organization. I think there's also context in terms of the individual. And we're really making the assumption that most knowledge management professionals really learn best by doing. And I think there's a piece to that that we're assuming that that's also a preference. And I think there is some aspect of if we're learning about and then doing, or if we're learning about while doing, that some people might prefer that and hold on to it a bit more. And so I think it really depends on the person, and presenting opportunities is more important than prescribing a way to go about that balance of about and do and what order we should do it in. And I give an example from my own experience. I'm teaching 100% online for Northeastern right now. Number one, I went in with a real hesitancy to do it. And really, I was resistant to it and said, there's no way knowledge can be passed or created this way. First, I had the conversations and people tried to turn me around. But then I had a training course and they do an excellent job. They're cutting edge in terms of distance learning, and they do an excellent job of training, and they were training while I was doing as well. The training made me embrace it, and in a way that I think doing didn't. They threw me into teaching. Had I not had that training to A, give me confidence, and B, give me some skills that I didn't have, I don't know if I would have been doing the doing as with the depth that I am. So I do think there's a lot of value in kind of off the job, but being corresponding with what's being done.
Yeah, timing's critical.
Yeah.
And it's about finding that balance, as you say, because all academic and no practice leaves you in balance, and all practice and no academic as well.
Okay, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to learn about something, you need to do it before you leave the learning environment. If you just learn the material now and you don't go practice it right now, when you get onto your job, you might not be able to remember what you learned in class. As we got into some of these courses at George Washington in the KM field, I recall the course on technologies, for example. We had to actually go out and meet people who had the applications and learn them and bring them into class. And we learned a lot of activity going on there. When some of the presentations I did, I recall that we even brought people from where I was working because our program actually focused on working with systems that you're or expanding on systems from your work environment, bringing them into the classroom. So we had activities in there where I was able to actually bring people from work into the classroom and hear about some of the applications that they were looking at that time. And the wealth of knowledge that they got from that activity was just astronomical. So when we talk about the once you leave a program, you go out with your portfolios. When I left this program, I had several portfolios in the KM arena where I had brought up projects on how to align the strategic plan to our organization with the KM activities and build an operational plan. I left the school with that in hand and was able to take that back to my workforce. So it's very, very important.
I have the luxury of being a professor at this department because we have about 1,400 students globally. About 95% are practitioners who come to school to get a degree. And we go out to Lockheed, for example. As I said, I've taught at Santa Maria in their missile division. I've been in Denver in their IT division. Been at NR Orbital Sciences, SAIC. So the people that I interface with at the master's and doctoral level, and that's all, are all practitioners of the highest quality. The feedback I often get from them, and this is them saying it, I mean it's documented, is, and they tell me in class, Mike, I just had your idea, and I was at a board meeting and I mentioned it, and I said, wow, where'd you get that? And that's not small feedback I get. Clearly in the 6 courses I articulated to you, the practicum is essential. but in fact they're doing it already. So I'll let them, a lot of them just take their own work and apply this to it and then let me know what they're doing. Some of the people that we had of our doctoral program, I've been working, like Gabrielle is not here, she's working at Audi, and I'm trying to get an Audi from those people. Steve Newman, who was here yesterday, when he was taking our course, did the whole, he was working at NASA. All of NASA's KM stuff is Steve. I go on and on. Elsa and even Cynthia over there, she's our lawyer, you know. We bring a little legal framework to the table here. So I live in a world of practitioners and theoretical people. They all teach, they all work, and so I have that luxury. So you're not talking anything new to me about this. In fact, I can't imagine operating in an academic environment without this luxury. Now let me leave one quick proverb again, because about and doing are important. But if you read Forbes magazine, and I read about 27 of them, you know, every month, Malcolm and now his son Steve took a quote out of a Bible. I hate to quote the Bible. But he said, with all thy getting, get understanding. And if you don't have understanding about the about and the doing, you're just muddling along again. You know, we're looking at sustainable, consistent applications over a wide variety of things. And I'm able to move and kill people from the Marine Corps to go into business, to go into academia with the same set of skills. So be careful. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question, please? I did.
Based on your experience and knowledge, how do you envision a KM curriculum that has a base that supports the about and the do?
Well, I recently saw a definition for knowledge, and the key word in it was action. So that's all about doing. And if you're gearing up to facilitate learning knowledge management, then the facilitation of the instruction should be geared around doing and implementing. And how do you base that into a curriculum? I say base it off a principle of knowledge management to begin with. When we're doing web design, and I'm talking to that linear thinking individual that likes everything stacked this way, I like to stand them on their head because not everybody looks at it that way. So the curriculum should be a hodgepodge of operational, theory, practice, however those breakouts are going to be worded, to where I can pick and choose what I want and see things the way I like to see them. So it's more catered banquet facility, if you will, a smorgasbord of application and theory and all those practical things, to where it is a present the material to findability is the key word. So however you find it is not the right way, it's just the way you do it. So build the course curriculum to suit a knowledge management professional that does that for a living.
I have a question that may go beyond the current question in front of the panel. To take or I should say borrow a leaf from another profession, the program managers are now recognized as a profession. They have their PMI, they are certified, and in many organizations, including in the federal government, you cannot go nowadays into a project management or program management program without being PMI certified. There is a need, therefore, to, or should I say, is there a need to create something similar for the KM profession in order to be recognized as professionals? How do you see the universities stepping up to that plate, so to speak, and providing the foundation for such a list of core courses that can lead someday to a profession called knowledge professional?